around. I'm excited to have you here and go over a few personas of some of the herbs that you see here. We're not going to cover all the everything in this section of the store. You're going to find that some of the formulas, they're overlap in different sections, say the emotional circulatory Xin section or the digestive Pi section. So feel free to look around and put some dots together, meaning looking at patterns. That's what Chinese medicine is all about. Again, this is not medical information. This is advice that is only to be taken with monitoring from another healthcare provider or just information for you. So I'd like to get started with the headache section. If you are from the DIY Chinese medicine book, you have a little e-booklet that will go through and describe some of this in more detail for you. If not, you're still going to get some good information, or if you're interested in learning more about the little e-booklets, they're at DIYChineseMedicine.com. Okay, so first I'm going to just talk about a couple different kinds of pains, and these have been specifically geared somewhat towards headaches. So one that you're going to find is when you have blood deficiency and stagnation. So a blood deficiency headache is similar to what Jenny's been experiencing, where her cycles have gotten really light. She's feeling kind of faint sometimes and pale. She's getting kind of dizzy feeling, also maybe sometimes spots in front of her eyes. And she also, with the stagnation part, she's been getting these really terrible PMS cramps and headaches, and they can be kind of intense. It's hard to identify exactly where they are, but they are intense. It could be right around the eyes, the forehead, different areas, and Jenny is really struggling. So she decides to take Tiahong Siwu Tang, so tonic, the Siwu Tang, and Taohong breaks up the blood. And she takes this until her cycle's better, her headaches are better, and she's also just feeling stronger, maybe even sleeping better. Another area that can cause pain is dampness. Now, dampness can cause joint pain, it can cause head pain, and so a great formula for dampness is Banxia Xie Xing Tang. And so Benny gets a lot of phlegm. He doesn't digest his food, he gets kind of bloating sometimes in general, upset, kind of just achy stomach even sometimes, and hungry at times as well. And this formula, Benny his mom's noticing he's just always has a runny nose, but is also complaining of some stomach and head pains, and just kind of gets really spacey sometimes as well. Benny's not the most, is fairly energetic as a kid, but not super energetic. So the Banxia Xie Xing Tang helps resolve some of that dampness in the body and start to feel more energy and vitality and more movement of blood and qi, which leads to less pain in the head. Another type is a cold headache. And so this pain is usually fixed, and again, the locations can be different. You can look at if you have the ebook, you can see the map of the head and where the different pain areas can be. Sometimes it's right up front again, like with a cold headache from frozen foods or something like that. But Chuanxiong Sha Tiao San is an herb that can be used for really breaking up cold pains. And these are pains that are far better with warmth, even when they're really intense. The heating really helps a lot. And this is a blood mover, a strong blood mover, so you wouldn't want to take it, or whoever wouldn't want to take it, if they were trying to get pregnant. And then a hot headache. Now, these can be kind of accumulated blood stagnation of a virus. I've seen people get neck pain or shoulder pains or headaches with viruses that can be kind of intense, or it's just more hot in nature. What you really want to do is clear out all the histamine out of the head and the heat out of the head to get rid of the pain. So we're gonna say that Wanda has been feeling kind of hot in general, like hot head, and if she gets really emotionally upset, the headache might get worse. She also tends to be sometimes towards hives, or sometimes when she gets a cold, and a sore throat, things get really intense with her head. So she takes Sangju Ying, which is also used for cold headaches when you have a cold, but are hot in nature. So there might be a sore throat or some yellow discharge, like mucus discharge as well. Also, Wanda gets a lot of allergy sinus headaches, and the Sangju Ying helps a lot If the pain gets really sharp and intense, then Wanda starts taking some of the Tao Hong Su Tang to try to relieve that. Now, Tianmiao Gou Tianying is an herb that's used a lot for the Xiaoyang syndrome headaches. So Adelaide, sometimes getting a bitter taste in her mouth, maybe some epigastric, some pain in the upper abdomen area. She also has been getting these headaches along the side of her head and maybe at the top of her head as well. She's been really irritable at times. She gets a little bit of phlegm in her system, and she could really use some tonification and moving of the Xiaoyang system to get these headaches that are one-sided or at the top of her head gone. Again, if the pain gets really bad, like really intense, then she goes over more towards the Tao Hong Su Tang to break up the blood. And then Guixi, the Jing Gui Shen Qi Wan, this is a beautiful tonic. And sometimes we get headaches because we're just run down, or maybe we've had headaches for a long time and they tend to be the whole head, And so in the book, we talk about someone who's maybe Jing deficient to start. They have spinal issues, maybe have seizures and have a heavy head and an achy head. Now that's more extreme, but this formula is also really good just for building the whole body up. And so these, like the headaches come on more in the afternoon and they're better with rest. You just gotta lay your head down and you're tired and that type of thing. Then maybe there's more of a deficiency underlying. And so Bob every day is like, by the time 5 o'clock rolls around, which is the kidney time on the Chinese medicine clock, which you see in the booklet if you have that, and he just wants to lay his head down and he's just tired all the time and just like, oh, I've got a headache. And so this would be a great formula for Bob. And he loves it, he takes it, loves it. Jing Gui Shen Qi Wan. Okay, again, there are more formulas in here that I'm going over. Feel free to click on them. The store's done a wonderful job of giving you some ideas of what they're for, like topicals for cold or hot pain. Anything, if you're using it for the head though, make sure you don't do the eyes or nose too much, just sensitive areas. Just be aware of sensitivities to the skin is all. Also, some of the tips is if you are someone who gets migraines, putting an ice pack on the cheeks stimulates the mammalian dive response and gets blood away from the head during an acute episode of either anxiety, but also for headaches. Thank you for visiting.